right, testing, 1, 2, 3. This is a sound check. Let me know if you can hear me. And if you can't, I'll be happy to hear what you guys say. Only 2 minutes, guys. Let me know if you can hear the audio. I can see some thumbs up, so I'm really excited about that. All right, guys, welcome back to another YouTube live stream. I'm excited to be here with you guys. My name is Stefan Kunz, and I'll be doing this stream with you guys. So today's topic is going to be how to mix photos and lettering into one beautifully mixing thing. So the thing about lettering and typography works so well together, it's kind of like strawberries and chocolate. It's the perfect blend of two elements that just works perfectly together, or milk and coffee. I don't know how you guys enjoy your coffee, but my coffee, like I'm a latte lover. I love coffee with milk, with especially steamed milk. And one fun fact about me is also that I started lettering after I started latte art. So I learned the art of lettering, the art of latte art before I started lettering, and I had to learn this one coffee at a day for 4 months until I learned how to do these beautiful latte art things. And just to show you guys how this looks, this is my coffee. The foam has already gone down. It's not necessarily the most beautiful thing to look at right now, but still, lettering and photography, they blend super beautifully, and this is why I wanted to do this stream for such a long time. So I'm excited that you are here. If you are new here, we're doing these streams where it's say, come draw with me, Stefan. And I want you guys to get creative during this time. It's not just about me showing you how it works, but also that you guys get to be creative, get to be productive, create something in this time, because I believe that we are meant to create. We are meant to do stuff. And one of my favorite quotes is create something today, even if it sucks. So don't worry if it's not gonna be perfect. Don't worry if it's your first try. The goal is that you're trying and that you're doing your best as you can. I didn't get where I'm at today without failing a ton of times. And a lot of my things always have something that is wrong with it, but I'm learning every single day. So I'm really excited. Now I want to say thank you as much as possible to my Patreon. So here's a Patreon shout out to all these people over here on this side over there. There we go. Sana, Brooke, Emma, Beck, India, Ludmilla, Chris Run. I haven't updated the list from the last time I did this screen, but these guys and all the other 84 Patreons that I have to date are the ones that are supporting this channel, that are making this possible. I told one of my Patreons, and Jonathan, he's in the chat, I told him that I just bought a lot of equipment gear for the next live stream setup. So in the coming weeks, we'll update the whole setup. We'll make it more beautiful, more exciting, and it's gonna be just awesome. Like better light, better setup, better cameras, and all that stuff. Not just the little webcam that is up here, but also just good cameras with beautiful depth of field, blurry backgrounds, and stuff like that. So it's gonna be fun. So I'm excited for that. Also, I just wanted to say, you guys, I'm super excited to always see what you guys are drawing. So we got here Womenora, who actually did a beautiful piece from one of the last live streams. That was just amazing to see what she's doing and how she's doing it. And so I'm always excited to see your guys' work in the pieces that you create and that you do. So don't forget to share your moments here. Come draw with Stefan. It's hashtag draw with Stefan. You can share that online, tag me in your post, and let me know what you guys are drawing, because I'm always excited. I had also a great weekend, so thank you so much for asking. I'm pretty excited about that. Yup, lattes are the best. Yes, Kiola from the United Kingdom is in here in the house. So good to see you guys are here. I'm really excited for this session. And so again, join the exclusive member. I had a chat with them last Friday where they asked me a ton of questions. I answered them in a Q&A on Zoom. We had a beautiful chat, and we're going forward. I'm going also to do coaching on there, where I'm gonna draw out a name and then coach that person, and everybody will get to watch and also learn from that person. So it's gonna be exciting, new stuff coming out there. So if you want to help out with this live stream, help out, make this possible, then jump on there and we're gonna have a great time. All right, let's jump over to the top-down view. And I got my iPad over here. I'm going to also move down, zoom in here, perfect. And this is what we're going to do. We are going to mix photos and typo. This one is very special to me because it's actually composed out of different elements. So it's not just one photo, it's here water, it's a background, the birds, and then mixing these two together in the best way possible. Of course, you can always ask your questions in the comments over there. Let me know whenever I'll always look over and try to see it. There's also Jonathan, that I didn't tell that he would be helping me out with moderating, but maybe he will, maybe he won't, I don't know. But I'm really excited about that. So here, one of my favorite things as well, clouds. Clouds are perfect to blend in with typography because you can have something, a little bit of haze, a little bit of thing going on in the front of it, kind of like here. And so yeah, very fun. Also water and reflection is beautiful. You can have the letters reflect in the water here. Here it's a little bit disturbed, which is also really cool to do. So great effects that you can play around even with these waves. So play around here, and there's a lot of work that I've done, kind of this one too. This one is kind of with some ribbon lettering, which we've also looked in the previous stream. And yeah, let's jump over to a brand new project. And let's look at how the process actually works for me when I create a new piece. So here we are in my project piece. And I will always use, on the iPad, I will always use a canvas size. Here we have the canvas information, and I will always use 4000 by 5000 pixels at a 600 dpi size. The dpi is the density per inch, dots per inch. Not density, dots per inch, 600 dpi. And that means there's 600 pixels in an inch here with these elements that you know. So most importantly is this here, and you see the physical width. It's not very big actually, but this is what allowed me to actually then print on these pieces. So this is what we're working with. The canvas size, it's perfectly made for Instagram, so it has the Instagram dimensions the long way up. And one great question I just got here, where is it? Is it okay to use picture that is not yours? Absolutely not, except for, and we have some exceptions, is where do you get your pictures from? So I use Unsplash. Unsplash here, this is the app that I can use, and I can open it. Let's see if I can open it. I need to open the app. And Unsplash is a royalty-free royalty-free image licensing place. So everyone who uploads their pictures on here will give out their royalties or their rights to those pictures for anyone to use it. Now you can of course look at that, photos for everyone, the internet source of freely usable images powered by creators everywhere. So I'm really thankful for all the photographers who are actually giving out their content for free, and I also have one on here. And so the cool thing is now you can search for something. So let's go with a action picture. I know that sports is a great place to look for, so let's type in sport, and you can see there are some really amazing pictures in here that you can use now for free without having to tag them, but it's always nice to tag them, and so that you can use them. Now, one of the things that I will look for is a picture that is good for lettering, something where I can introduce the text between the foreground and the background. And so sometimes it does have to have an element that is in front of the picture. For example, in this one here, we have the beautiful skier, and you have the sky in the background, and of course the skier in the foreground. So there's place between those two, and you can create something. Also, the colors are perfect. Everything here in the blue is like darker blue, so it's perfect to draw on top of that, and that allows for something interesting. And then what else? We have here the same thing. Here the background is a little bit boring. You don't see anything. You could place that person in front of something else. But there are some elements where it just wouldn't work really well. For example, in between this picture, you have the climber that is climbing up, and the space in between the rock and the climber, there's just not enough space to really put something in between. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense, in my opinion, in my mind. Another thing here would be as well, here you could put it in front of the cyclist, and imagine that the lettering would actually be in the frame, that you would have this massive piece of lettering that would just float somewhere in the frame, and how would that actually look like? So the more interesting you get your pictures, and that may mean that you have to go through a lot of pictures to find something really, really cool. So I will spend hours and hours sometimes on this platform looking for something amazing that will stick out to me, that I feel like, oh, this will be just perfect to use in some way. Let's see. For example, I love this snowbirder. And again, I would have to think of what color would that lettering be. For example, let's take this one as an example, and I will tell you kind of what happens inside of my head when I see this picture. So let me drag over. This is a beautiful thing that you can do over here. You can just grab these images and then slide down, and let's see if we can find the snowboarder again on this pipe, on the jump. There we go. And the cool thing is now I can just, I can download, I can just drag it over. So here, this one is actually better. So sport. Oh, that's a collection of just anything here. Oh, I'm still in action. I should look for sports in the app. Let's see what happens if I just drag this one in. So I have to place it. Yeah, so the picture here, if I drag it straight from the app, and you can just drag it over, it actually happens instantly, and the quality of the picture is also bigger. You saw it before when I imported it, it was really small, so this is also a good sign. Like if it's going up all the way to your picture, then it means that the image quality is actually pretty good, and you can zoom in and it actually looks quite decent here. So I would actually take up kind of the darkest color inside of the picture, like this blue here, and kind of make it even more blue. Let's see if that's working with contrast. And I could write out like, use another brush, my sketch brush here. So imagine this would be totally in the air out there somewhere, and he would be jumping through the snow lettering, not just the snow. And so I imagine him, now let's see, hide that a little bit, and I'll use a clipping mask. So if you're not sure, not a clipping mask, I'm just a little bit confused right now. I'm using a mask. So right now I'm trying to think of, all right, maybe I need to place this lettering a little bit out here. So imagine he's jumping through that little hole here of the O, or even better, maybe I'll change the O like this so that he can jump really nicely through that hole, and see if we can place it around there. And now let's go back to the layer mask. And so I can start hiding his arm here. So I'll do that and start to recolor in. And using the mask is, I have made a live stream about how to use clipping mask and mask, or what do they actually do. And the easy answer is really mask work kind of like hiding something in front and something behind it. So clipping masks are like putting a one layer into the background to make that one visible. I want to actually show his head as well. So using black and white, using black, I can hide what is in front or what is on that layer. And with the white, I can, again, make it visible. And I want here his behind sticking out, and wants to add that here. So here, part of it will stand out, but not all of it. And I want that he has actually jumped, maybe even his board here in the back. That would be cool. So sometimes you have to go through back and forth to see how he would jump in through. So right now, this O, the shape of the O, would actually go somewhere through, like he has his arm kind of like crossed like this. Let's see if I can show you that. Whoa, now I've moved something. Back there. So if he would be up like this, here the O would kind of pass through somewhere between here. So this is the best way I could explain that. Not necessarily the best way, but the best way. Okay, so back here, I can take this shape again. Oh, now it's only, the transparency is not quite full. So by duplicating it a couple of times, I can back the full transparency. There we go. Now it's not transparent anymore. Like this. So this still looks a lot flat. And with a couple of tricks, what we can do is, for example, darken, adding some shadows. So I'm going to use a softer brush, and I'm going to paint on the snow. And so I'm going to use a clipping mask now. So now the snow becomes a window in which you guys can see me. For example, the window where, if I move around here, so this window here in the frame that you see me, my face, this is what I allow the app to actually show you guys. But there's of course a lot more behind it. But this window here allows you guys to see me. And so in the same way, the snow becomes a window by which you can see, which you see the layers behind it. For example, I can add this shadow in here to give it some shadow, and suddenly with shadows, of course, everything will pop out just a tiny little bit. And so that's a great way to add some elements back here. Now, the next level would be also to integrate the snow into the scenery, not just the person that is right here in front of it. So that would mean actually to create a whole shadow that will drop on the snow. Now that is a lot complicated than it might look or you might think. And this is why all these great pieces that you create is all about creating reality or creating complex imagery that will look amazing. So I hope that you guys understand that. And this is why we're gonna go through now some pictures. We're gonna look for something fun to look at. And we're gonna try to find something crazy interesting, intriguing. I actually don't know if I will find something because it can take for a long time. I didn't prepare anything because you guys, I don't want to fool you guys by just always showing like, hey, this is a pre-baked piece here, and here you go. It's kind of like those cooking shows where it's like, well, you're gonna have to cook this for another hour, and while you are cooking this, and hit pause probably, I'm gonna take the other piece that I've already finished. You know that show? This is kind of what I want to do, or not to do with you guys. I want to show you the pain and the agony that comes with actually looking for an image. Now, I'm also gonna tell you guys, it's also working with with the app called Over. I used Over for the longest time. It already has some fonts in it. You can use that. You can overlay that on top of pictures. That's also a great way if you don't have any iPad or Photoshop or anything like that. You can use the app called Over to make that happen. So let's go over to Unsplash again and let's look for a picture. Now there's a cool library that says just add type and collections, and then you see here just add type volume 1. So top down, here we go. So I just search for just add type, and here you have all these different folders, and these two, one guy, I don't remember his name, but Andrew Neal created a whole library of images that are just amazing to use, and you guys can get there. So I would absolutely recommend going on his on that library and look for cool images, because he found some images that just feel like you should be adding type in here. For example, this one, I love that one, and you can just drop here and it will download to your library, and you can find something there. You keep it, save it, and let's see, let's find something else. Open road. Oh, I like this. This is intriguing. If you have any ideas as well of what you feel like could be really cool for a quote or image, let me know. Some of these pictures I've also already used in some of my pieces. For example, this one is just epic. But he's taking so much space in the picture that putting text behind it, like, you definitely miss like 2 or 3 letters. This is why that one isn't necessarily the best. I've used this image though. She's so small, you can put something really great behind it. Don't know what just happened. And it's a perfect image actually. Also here, the hand. Again, the hand might be a little bit big, but it could work. Let's see if we can use a camera. What happens if I look for camera photos? Ooh, that one is nice. That one's nice too. I've used this picture here. Create something today, even if it's freezing outside. Always a good quote. Also, when you're not finding something, don't get frustrated right away. Sometimes it just takes time. Sometimes you won't find anything, and sometimes you just have to take whatever is right in front of you and don't look for it too long. Sometimes you won't find the perfect picture even though you want to, and you just gotta take whatever you get. So I like actually this one too here. Let's take that one. Because I have an idea of what we can do, but and then finally again, going back, done, cancel. Let's see if we can find something here that's beautiful and interesting. Okay, this one is from Switzerland, beautiful Matterhorn, Toblerone mountain. It's called Toblerone mountain because the chocolate brand Toblerone has the mountain on their picture as the logo. This one is also really cool. I like that one. This kind of looks fitting to what we're going through right now with the quarantine. Maybe that one too. Doesn't have the right shape of the image. This one could be interesting. All right. Do I have enough? This one is interesting because it has a reflection, so anything you write up there could be reflected down here. All right, I got a few pictures and hopefully confident enough to try out something new. Let's see, you can drag in, actually just sliding from the right. So slide in, you get this little pull, and then it will take up the albums here, and you'll see like a couple of images that I've saved. So here I got a couple of different pictures, and I'll try, maybe see if I can use one of those. I wanted to use this one here, right? So you can just drag and drop it in, import automatically, scale it a little bit. I'm gonna just zoom out just to see where it's actually at. I want the most possible space in my pictures. So I want to have the most time here to write something out and not have this here be too distracting. So maybe I'll zoom in even a little bit, but not too much. So the main focus should always be the text. You're the lettering artist, you should be making sure that you place a lot of text in. So here we go. Now, the next thing that I want to do is to find a color that is contrasting. So I'm gonna try out different things. So here, this is not very contrasting. So like if I had something that goes all the way here, it kind of goes into all the colors. So what I will also try to do is hide this and then add some colorful line. And because it's going through all the elements, I can now actually go in here, and I've never done it like this, but I feel like this is the easiest way to show. I can actually go here and see if I can find a color that will fit in well. Kind of like a red, green would not pop really in well. Blue could work, maybe a teal would work too. Can increase the saturation, decrease it a little bit. I feel like this teal, the colors are not showing off really well on your screen, at least what I'm seeing. And you can use that. So I don't know who is the artist of that, but you probably could search for it with a, I don't know. Wait a minute, maybe there is a way to find their name. Like if you look for bed, hand, and cup. See if it will find something. Bed, hand, and cup. Maybe not. Ooh, there's so much beautiful coffee inside here. Ooh, that makes me want to drink some coffee. Okay, that didn't work. Let's see if we can find it by actually tapping on the picture. There's no information on the picture, so I cannot see who actually made this picture. What if I save it to files? Add to shared album, save to files. No, it didn't add the name. Okay, well, maybe it did. No, it did not. Sorry, Daksha, I cannot actually help you here with this. So now I can pick up this color and use that in the background. So let's see. Coffee in bed. Can we find a quote with coffee? So now I'm going over to my Pinterest. So you can find me on Pinterest here, Stefan Kunz. You can find me there. Maybe I can even show you can I show you a thing to boards? No. But you can find me with Stefan Kunz on Pinterest as well. Let me see if I can find a quote. I have a coffee quotes with coffee. You're cute and all, but I'm not sharing my coffee. Wake up, drink coffee, be kind. Wake up, drink coffee. I like that one. A coffee a day keeps the grumpy away. Maybe you got this. I like that because the you got this, short for me here to do. So let's see. You got something like that. Something like that, maybe? So if you play it out right, so this is a simple idea of a lettering piece. You can of course make it a lot more complex, but let's see if we can just make this a reality here. So again, a lot has to do with trial and error. Sometimes it works out really, really well, and sometimes it doesn't. Also guys, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. If you're new here, I'm excited for you to join our community of passionate creatives who are spending their afternoons, evenings, mornings, nights to create new things. Maybe this is too long. Also, if you haven't already, don't forget to like the video because that is helping me out by sharing this video further. You can also share this video with others, your friends, if you want to. And yeah, also the Patreon community is how you can become an exclusive member, support the growth here of this channel, like be the one who is actually bringing together people, making sure that these live streams happen as well, and always be the first to know kind of what I'm investing in, how I'm doing things. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff happening. So right now, trying to get a cool style of letters here. It's not as easy. Kind of giving it all a, how do you name that? Sign painting style of letters. So I like this. Carmela Garcia is saying that you make it look so easy. And I love to hear that because this is actually a great way to see that you are making progress, is whenever something looks effortless, you have probably figured out a great deal how something works. And it's always a good thing. So that comes from a lot of practicing. So don't Don't look at someone and feel like, oh, they may, like, it looks so easy when they do it. It's because they practice a lot, and putting in a lot of practice also is a great way to train. So imagine a brush tip kind of would look like this. So whenever you're pressing down and going over here, so this is kind of what I'm doing wrong, for example, that I just saw, is that actually this should look more like that. So yeah, somebody asked also, what did I do on the weekend? I'm not sure if you guys are interested at all, but I watched full season of House of Cards. House of Cards, man, I'm always messing this one up. I watched a whole season of Money Heist. It's because it's called in German, it's called House of Money, and La Casa de Papel in Spanish, even though I have no idea what that means in Spanish, but like, probably means House of Cards. House of Money. Papel. Papel sounds like card paper. House of Paper. Alright, so this could be the lettering piece here. And so when you've drawn this, so this was my brush style, right? You can always improve spacing, but once you're really done with the whole thing, so let's see if I can show that here. That is the final piece. So without the rest, it could be just that. And now I can see also a lot of inconsistencies here. It's not very clean because I didn't see that with the picture in the background. I'm trying to keep the same angle here pretty much on all those strokes. By the way, for everyone who is wanting to know more about the schedule for this week, we're not going to do a live stream on Wednesday because I will be shooting something very special. Maybe you guys can guess what it is, but I will actually keep my Patreons informed because I want to share that with them. Here again, I saw that I messed up the T. I want to do it more like the other T that I did. And I finished a puzzle. I totally forgot to tell you guys that. I finished a puzzle. Maybe just reducing the size of the G here. Selection. The reason mostly why I want to make it smaller is also because the spacing between these letters is just a little bit tight. Okay. It's not perfect, but for this exercise, it's gonna work out. I believe so. Okay, let's get back the other layer inside. So we got this here, and now what I want to do is kind of hide it at some places just to see where I can put it in front. If I have to move a couple of things around, for example, I can move this a little bit inwards here. I'll show you exactly why, mostly because of this part here. So the T goes in front and in the back. So again, using a mask to mask some areas, and then we'll hide some elements. And we're gonna go a little bit between what we feel like it. For example, I don't want to hide this part of the G. Here, this part of the H. Then this part of the T. Surely this of the H here. Maybe we'll have to do something about the rest here. Because I kind of want to hide some parts here of the S as well, but that won't look good. Because if I hide this, all of this here, you can barely see that it's an S. So let me show you. Bring this back up in front. So now you can look at that and see, can you read it really well, or do you have troubles at some places? For example, if I'm looking at that more closely, what can I see? I can see you got this. I see this, I don't see the S really well. I only see like this weird thing here. So even the H down here is a little bit harder to read because it's a lot covered. The T works, the G definitely works. This is not an integral part of the G. Kind of look for something that could be let's invert that back to the white. So that wouldn't make any sense because the letter cannot go between the cup and the hand really well, because the hand is kind of like intertwined with the cup. So kind of like this here, like this is interconnected, and like there's no space in between. Like it wouldn't make sense if the S would go through there. So we might have to find another better solution. Like this, it would totally work. Kind of usually like if the S kind of envelops around something like here, but then the S would all have to be a little bit further. So maybe kind of like that. Oh, that could actually work. Let's see, let's hide this. So what I would have to do here is also open layers. Liquify, I can kind of move. So this is kind of what I would have to do here. Let's change the shape of the S so much that it would be able to develop around the hand and go back and forth. And we can do the same thing over here as well. Kind of like that. So now that I have this, I'm good here, all right. How does this look, guys? So now if I would have to hide a part of the S, it wouldn't be too bad. For example, again, reducing the size, I'm gonna clear this mask, clear. And now I can go back and hide all this part here of the S. Kind of like that. And now let's look at that. Let's look at how this looks. So this is kind of a cool thing now. It looks like the S would wrap around like a snake around the hand. And of course, if we clear this up a little bit, here it's not enough. But let's change up to white to bring back some details here. This looks good over here. This looks all right over there. And now just the knuckles. And so now, if I'd start adding some shadows, let's use this color, but let's make it a little bit darker. Add a gradient brush here. I can actually start all right, this doesn't work because the sun is actually coming from this side, so this is wrong. That's okay, because we can use this still. Might still be a little bit of shadows there. Kind of like that. All right, let's do the other parts. Go back in here. I like how the S is turning around now. We could even have this little piece here turn in the back too. Let's see, go back here, yes. Let's hide some. So what did we want? We wanted the T here. Oops. Wrong brush. All right, just like that. And now the finale to re-put back these elements that we want to see. You got this. Cool. Okay, so let's put back, fine tune it here. So again, the closer you get, the better it looks. The more you play around with it, the more realistic it will look. So don't be afraid of playing a little bit longer than you might think, but you'll also learn with every attempt that you do. So don't also believe that just doing it once will teach you everything, and that you will have to make it perfect on the first try, but just play around with it. Kind of like that. Here. Okay. So now I can go back to the top layer, grab that darker gradient, take the gradient brush, kind of fill this out. Maybe just tiny little bit less. And then just by adjusting here, a little bit the opacity, maybe even reducing some up here. Don't have to be strong effects. They just need to be there a little bit to be present. And another one is also kind of the gradient from the room, from the lighting of the room, is also a great effect. For example, let's add some highlights. So this is the color. I'm just gonna increase here the brightness. And now we're back again in a clipping mask. And so we're just gonna try to brighten up. So the light is coming from this side here, so we can see that clearly. And we're just gonna increase it a little bit. This side, so it just looks like the light is hitting strong and matching the lighting of the source. And this is really important whenever you're doing something with Photoshop or photoshopping elements. I know it's called Photoshop, we're using Procreate, it's kind of confusing in this way, but lighting is an essential piece in this. And texture as well. Don't get me wrong, texture is also a very integral part. But for now, this actually looks quite cool. The question is, can we actually go one step further? As you know, I like to do this, so I'm gonna take this back here. And what happens if I just make this black and white? So if I reduce here saturation, because shadows usually don't have any saturation, and then also Gaussian blur. Oh, so now I have to take out this, again, Gaussian blur. And then we'll also do a multiply here, just like a little shadow in the background. You know what? Not really what I was aiming for. But why not? So what I'm trying to do here is I need to make sure that the shadow doesn't really hit on any other surface though. For example, the thing is, like, the whole hand and stuff doesn't actually throw any shadows, so they don't cast any shadows. They don't throw shadows, they don't cast shadows. Like, I don't even see where the shadow would hit, probably over here. So we're gonna leave this like it is. But yeah, this is how you play around. Like, now you could play around with the colors of the letters, of course. You could see if maybe another color would be actually better. So going around with the hue and brightness, for example, going in here and seeing like, oh, how does it look if I have something more purple? The thing is, there are some colors on the background, which is why it won't actually show that well. But a red could also be nice. Even a gradient could look really nice on here. Kind of like that. That could be cool. So this is pretty much how it works. And so if we go back to one of our other projects that I've created, let's jump over to one where I have actually mixed up something. Back in here. And yeah, great one, for example, here, this one, great photographer. This is a friend of mine. He actually uses, his name is Ryan Longnecker. He is actually, this picture is in the book that I created. It's pretty amazing. It's, here you see, there are little clouds that you can draw inside as well to add some more. Here I've drawn also a lot of little things. And you can see here, this is the the masking layer that I used to kind of incorporate that in the background. I think I also tried to put some reflection on this lake, but the lake doesn't really reflect that much, so it wasn't really necessary to do that. Also I changed, like, let's see if I can find the elements. Where do we have one? Here. Do I have the whole video? This is always the most interesting part. You see, I use a pre-composed grid that I made for this challenge, for the 30 Days of Bible Lettering Challenge. You can actually get that on my shop. Some pre-fabricated grids, and I filled it out. It's kind of like using the grid builder, but already made for you, so it's all ready. And then I tried out different things, tried out different brushes as well. This time I used my paintbrush that I actually also have on my shop. And then did the whole lettering piece. And then I think at the end, when I was pretty much done, I feel like I tried like different photos. I tried like a wood background. I tried out the weird glass, and I wasn't really like, it wasn't really fitting to the message as well. And then finally found this beautiful picture with the clouds. And look at that. Now starting to add some clouds in the background, make it look like the lettering is layered background to the back. So it's not all on the same front, but it has some layers effects. And this is why like the clouds will come up just enough to cover it, but not too much to be distracting. And then adding some lighting, some shadows of the sun that is coming from back there, kind of adding like these drop shadows here, and then making sure that it looks kind of like the sun would come right from the back and add a beautiful element to it. So that took me, how long did it take me? We have the canvas information, and I worked on it for 2.5 hours. So this can be done in 2.5 hours. Like the last element that you would usually use is to actually put in the shadows, the effects, but first kind of incorporate it into a picture, make it look like it's seamlessly inside of it. And that's kind of the cool things. Like here, same thing. Let's see if we can see some elements. Video, time-lapse replay. You can see again the same process. Started out with the pre-composed grid that I already had because it was part of the challenge. And then I tried out this effect, and I kind of like, oh, I like the sketch of that. So I redid this, I imported that, and then redid the top part because I felt like, you know, only the water would kind of dissolve the whole lettering and kind of add some effects. And so there's always this idea, this imagination that has to go inside or through your head is, how can I work with these elements? How can I, like, how would this affect my lettering in some way? Like if the lettering was outside, how would that do? And so here you can see I started to implement that, adding some shadows. So you can see here all these, like it was flat here, and then I added the shadows and added some elements, and then yeah, finally, like here you can see I added the sky and the birds. Look at that, boom. And I also kind of hid a couple of things back there, and I added some shadows, some casting shadows from those letters inside the water, kind of these light streaks here, yeah. And then finally add the birds, and that really made the whole thing really pop out. And also a very popular piece that I created. Okay, I don't really have many more to show you guys. I'm sure that I could find more inside my catalog. But yeah, even this one here, this one is always fun. It's kind of like a reflecting piece where it's like written in top. And I've created this one in different layers. So I've masked out these buildings so that I could write inside of this layer here. So I got this, I can do a clear layer. I can go in, get a thick brush here, and then write like hello. And it looks kind of like I would write in between the buildings, but what's really happening is just that I've kind of mapped out some elements. I've also hidden some parts here where it's no water or where there's no reflection. And then, yeah, added some clipping mask back here to give you these, the shadows on the buildings that they would usually get. And all of that creates really the element of surprise when people see you write that out and think like, this is magic, but it's not. So using lettering and photos, mixing them together, creating these beautiful pieces is just what is really fun about that. So I want you guys to create something out, to try something out. Also, try to use Procreate or Over if you don't have an iPad or any other tablet. Try to use Over. It works on pretty much any device, on Android and Apple iOS. And if even that doesn't work, like there's definitely a way that you can draw something on a white piece of paper and then overlay that on top of your pictures with another thing. That would be a great actually live stream for another time, but I want to keep it also short and have you guys be creative. So again, thank you so much for watching. I'm really excited that I got to show you this. We're gonna do a lot more of those as well. Hope you learned something new. And again, thank you so much for the Patreons. If you want to become an exclusive member, get access to all the Q&As we did previously, you can sign up right there. It starts with just $1 and you can support like me getting lights for the studio, getting better microphone. Like I'm getting this microphone that will hook up here, and you would be the reason or who's financing that. And so I'm really thankful for everyone who's contributing, for the list of names. And also thank you so much for sharing your work, for whatever you're creating, for sharing these live streams with your friends. This is also helping me to get some new followers, to grow this community of awesome people. And we're always trying to come up with new ideas and how to incorporate you guys, create a better community and strong community. And so far, so yes, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and comment for some ideas of what you want to see me do next. I'm really excited about that. Until the next time,